Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the 2020 Scots Language Awards. Get to ken that yous are as excited about this evening as I am. I'll be your host for the hail evening. I'm Ali Heather, but don't worry, this night's way more than just me stood on my Todd reading out elite names. We're going to hear all sorts of braw folk dropping in to join us through the rest of the evening. We'll hear pre-recorded and live poems for poets. We're going to hear songs for sangsters. We're going to hear ein or twa speeches in there and all. But most of all, the centrepiece of the evening, we hear a dozen awards to give away, and our 50 nominees. Most years are sat at home waiting to find out how you got on. I ken you be wanting me to get on with the action, and we're going to get onto them dead soon. Our first twa awards are for Scots Media Person of the Year and Scots Business of the Year. In the voting, in the run-up to the night's awards, literally thousands upon thousands of votes were cast in both they categories. They're really hotly contested. So obviously all the nominees are deserving a tremendous amount of praise. We'll get to find out why the winners are just shortly. But to get this evening started, we're going to hear a performance for Jim and Susie Malcolm.
Hello, folks. It's wonderful to be asked to perform at this very prestigious award, and we are going to do a song or two that really celebrates the wonderful depth of Scots language, starting off with my favourite piece of written Scots, and that is the Violet Jacobs song Halloween, which the great Jim Reid turned into a song. Thank you. Tatty lifting's nearly through, of blue and white the barley grew, and after dark and elka stack, you'll hear the horsemen stand and crack. Oh, Lachlan, but I mind on you. A mind full often we hae seen 10,000 stars kicking atween the naked branches, and below both farm and both hae their show. The low way licks o' Halloween. There's bands with guises at their tail, clearing the doors where run so kale, and fine you'll hear the screeks and skirls o' lasses with their tricked curls, bobbing for apples in the pail. The bothy fighters loping hate, the new heed horseman's cast is set, richt o'er the long where by the blaze the audience stood that kept your clays. I canna thought to see it yet. Gin the old folks' tales are recht, and guests come hame on Hallows Necht. Oh friends, what would I gie to feel your axe, your hand to me, between the dark and the corner lech. A wahin France across the wave, the wheel spun on Ilka grave, and you and me there low he seen, you'll maybe hear your Halloween, yond while you're lying with a lave. There's drink and daff and song and dance, and ploys and kisses get their chance. But Lachlan, man, the place I see is where the old kiss used to be, and the lich's o' Halloween in France.
Thank you. And now I'm going to sing a bothy ballad from the Aberdeenshire tradition. My dad grew up on a farm in the 1940s and 1950s in Aberdeenshire and learned loads of bothy ballads in the bothy, and I'm lucky that he passed on a lot of them to me. And the one we're going to sing today is called Guys a Tuch. And it's a great song with loads of choruses, so I do hope that you'll sing along. And I like this one because it has quite a bit of gossiping at the end of it. Here's Guys a Tuch. As I come in by Afford and for to get a fee, 'twas there I met with Jamie Brune, and there we did agree. Dum a hi dum do, a hi dum day, hi dum a diddle dum, a hi dum a day. So I agreed with Jamie Brune in the year o' 91 to gang him and ca his second pair and be his orra man. Dum a hi dum do, a hi dum day, hi dum a diddle dum, a hi dum day. When I get home to guys a tucht was on an evening clear, they out about some horror who's the gaffer did appear. Dum a hi dum do, a hi dum day, hi dum a diddle dum, a hi dum day. He said I'm the gaffer o' the place and that's the mistress there, and if you want some bread and cheese you'll surely get your share. Dum a hi dum do, a hi dum day, hi dum a diddle dum, a hi dum a day. And I get to the stable, my perry forty view, and Bexy wear a dandy pair of chestnut and a blue. Dum a hi dum do, a hi dum day, hi dum a diddle dum, a hi dum a day. Early in the morning, I yoke it to the blue. Long, long a lousing time, my perry guard me roo. Dum a hi dum do, a hi dum day, hi dum a diddle dum, a hi dum a day. The blue shoe was no working wheel, she wouldna throw the far. The gaffer says it's a veteran at the smithy taking for. Dum a hi dum do, a hi dum day, hi dum a diddle dum, a hi dum a day. When I get in the new blue, she pleased me unca wheel, but I thought she would be better when she had a cotton wheel. Dum a hi dum do, a hi dum day, hi dum a diddle dum, a hi dum a day. Hey, a muckle Bailey Wallace is his name. He can ferret up the night fan, he takes down the cane. Dum a hi dum do, a hi dum day, hi dum a diddle dum, a hi dum day. We hae a gallant kid she deem, Simpson is her name, but doctor tell her pedigree it would be an awful shame. Dum a hi dum do, a hi dum day, hi dum a diddle dum, a hi dum a day. She gangs to kirk on Sunday, her head up in the level, with twar o' ivory that would scare the very devil. Dum a hi dum do, a hi dum day, hi dum a diddle dum, a hi dum a day. I know my song, I'll no sing anymore. And when you've been offended, you can walk outside the door. Dum a hi dum do, a hi dum day, hi dum a diddle dum, a hi dum day, dum a hi dum do, a hi dum day, hi dum a diddle dum, a hi dum a day.
Smashing performance for Jim and Susie Malcolm to kick off the evening. Now, on to our first award, Scots Media Person of the Year. This is an exciting one. We ken ourselves. Wee bit early there, nae bother. We ken ourselves that Scottish media for a long time, you didn't hear much Scots in it. Most of the time you'd hear kind of fairly plummy accents giving you your dose of the news in the official tongue. Even folk that were born and bade all their lives in the heart of Dundee or some other place like that, they'd kind of ging onto telly, ging on the radio and feel they had to speak a certain way. That's still the case a wee bit today, but thanks to our nominees, that is changing, and that is changing fast. So I'm delighted to say that our nominees this year for Scots Media Person of the Year are Colin Burnett, Joanna Kopacik, Paul McNichol and Ronnie Costello for the Dode Fox podcast, and Stuart Bremner. To present this evening's first award, please welcome Penny.
All right, lads. As someone who spends the majority of their life online these days, I'm absolutely buzzing to be presenting this award. Sometimes when you speak Scots online, you feel a bit like a modern-day William Wallace, except the only battles you're fighting are against the spell check. So it is my absolute honour to present the award for social media to Paul McNichol and Ronnie Costello from the Dode Fox podcast. Go on yourself, lads.
Smashing stuff. And I'm delighted to say I'm joined by somebody for the Dode Fox podcast live.
Still waiting.
I believe I'm joined by either Paul McNichol or Ronnie Costello for the Dode Fox podcast. I believe that they aren't away to show up, which is a real shame. For them that didn't ken, the Dode Fox podcast has been running for more than a year now, and it's himself, it's Ronnie. I can't hear you, but you look chuffed. I can't hear you. That's the forehead of a winner, ladies and gentlemen. I'm afraid, Ronnie, you ken you've won, we ken you've won, we're all delighted for you, but we can't hear you. So Abdi at him, hey a wee dram to celebrate our first technical difficulty of the evening. It will not be the last. Of course, hopefully this will be the only time that we hey Scots Language Awards at a distance like this. But it's going to be some crack, so stick with us. Well done very much indeed to both Ronnie and Paul. They put out a broad podcast each and every week. They did it all the way through lockdown in good Dundee, Scots. Lug into it. It's a classic. Now, Penny there presented the award. She went viral no so long ago with this smashing poem on Twitter called I'm No Having Children.
Hi, this poem is called I'm No Having Children. I'm no having children. I'm going to hae wains, and you can ask what I cry them, know what are their names. They'll be getting a piece, no a wee packed lunch. They'll be haeing a scran, no having a munch. And they'll fanny about, they won't waste time. And when they write their wee poems, I'll make sure they rhyme. I'm no haeing children. I'm going to hae wains who'll be gowping and beeling when they've got aches and pains. And instead of don't worry, I'll say dinna fash. Instead of stand your ground, dinna take any snash. My weans will be crabbit, no in a bad mood, and they'll greet, no cry, when their day is nae good. I'm no haeing children. I'm going to hae wains, with a proud ancient language crammed in their wee brains, and whenever life tells them their English is bad, I'll tell them the hassles that their mammy had, and I'll say my ma's words to the day that I'm deed. You'll be all right, hen. You've a good Scots tongue in your head. Thank you.
That's a smashing poem for Penny there. And genuinely well done to all the media nominees. You're doing us all proud. Keep up the good work. On to our second award of the evening, Scots Business of the Year. So this award is acknowledging all the essential businesses that are nodes in their community of speakers. They provide resources, they give folk a kind of a visible presence to Scots and shop windows, and they provide that kind of that next step where Scots isn't just visible, it's also an economical thing and all. So, our nominees for Scots Business of the Year 2020. Cranachan Publishing, Geert Laldy Glasgow, Quirky Coo Dundee, Susan McGill Designs, and the Wee Book Company. Now to present the award, please welcome Ayrshires Ain, the Scots poet Rab Wilson. Good evening, Rab.
Good evening, Alistair. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Aye, well, the winner in this most difficult of years for businesses, and they all deserve a medal this year for this crazy year that they've worked through. But the prize can only guarantee yin, and that yin is the Wee Book Company.
Tremendous, tremendous, tremendous. And hopefully we are now able to gang live to somebody for the Wee Book Company. Good evening.
Give them a few minutes to come in.
Somebody for the Wee Book Company. They put out loads of smashing wee collections of sort of really accessible Scots material. It's good fun, it's upbeat, often with illustrations. It's great for bairns, it's great for gifts. Genuinely, check out the Wee Book Company online, and also check out Cranachan Publishing, Geet Laldy, Quirky Coo, Susan McGill Designs. All our nominees are doing fine work for Scots.
Let's move on.
I'm afraid we aren't going live, so if you're keeping track of technical errors, that's twa technical errors so far, so hey, a wee dram to celebrate that in and all. Smashing, twa worthy winners, twa great awards. We're now on to another performance, and I'm delighted to say that we have an exclusive performance for sensational poet Gerda Stevenson.
It's great to be part of the wonderful Scots Language Awards again, and a big thank you to Simon Toomere for putting all of this together. No mean feat. Thanks, Simon. I'm going to read a couple of my poems. They're actually songs. They can be found on the marvellous Scots in Schools website, which is a fantastic resource. The first one, New Haven, was commissioned by the University of Edinburgh's Music in the Community course to mark Scotland's Year of Coasts and Waters, which is this year, of course. The remit was to write a song for 160 children of Victoria Street Primary School in New Haven and the students of the University of Edinburgh to sing at the McEwen Hall in March. Unfortunately, it was cancelled because of COVID. The composer was Dee Isaacs, and I went down to Victoria Primary School to do a wee bit of research. They have a marvellous wee exhibition there of artefacts from New Haven's history, including things like lovely glass globes, fishing net floats, and a beautiful little model of the Great Michael, which was a carrack, a warship, the biggest and most heavily armed in Europe at its time. It was built in New Haven and launched there in 1512. So here are the lyrics of my song, and it's dedicated to Greta Thunberg. New Haven. Heel kicking hame frae a lang day at school, loupin' o'er the cobbles like a wee whirlpool, a bringe, a breel, and the willy goose squeal, gandy gousters blaw like a carlin's reel. Herrin for tea, then I lay doon my head, tak out a book, and hae a bit read aboot New Haven, the toon where I bide, the market, lichthouse, harbour and tide. The white horses ride, my een are closing, nod, nid, nodding, dover and dover, and the blue salt water crooning, droning. I'm drifting, swimming, shouting, floating in a dwam on braid waves o' sleep. Boats drift by on the Firth say deep. I hear a lanely sang o' whales like ghasts. Nets in the moonlight wave like lace. New Haven, sing to me, my hame New Haven wi' your dancing sea. Fishing floats glent and drift, turlin' globes like planets i' the lift. An old woman bending o'er the net mending, my great grandmother, her darg never ending. Bairns playing peavers, lochin' in the street, but when they fa, skint knees mak them greet. They're stacking fish boxes to mak play huts. Och, the clarty guff o' deed fish guts. New Haven, sing to me, my hame, New Haven, wi' your dancing sea. The tide rides in and the tide rides out, sails they blaw and ships they hoot. I'm nodding, Dover and drifting, swimming, shouting, floating. I see a braw ship, leamin', glistering, the great Michael, gowd decks skinkling. A warship built frae the forests o' Fife, its guns would mak ye feart for your life. New Haven, sing to me, my hame, New Haven, wi' your dancing sea. The great Michael sails me into the dawn, my tired een appin on a New Haven morn. News o' families drooned in the sea, news o' muckle men wha canna agree, news o' wars far, far awa', isles slick spreadin' on the oceans ower a'. I dinna want war, I want war to cease, a brave new world that's a haven o' peace. New Haven, sing to me, my hame, New Haven, wi' your dancing sea. Dark the sky and cold the wind blaws, through my heart like jagged ice flows. But I tak a bit paper and I screeve a note, float it in a bottle like a bonny wee boat. To the world a message, tak tent o' the young, mind on our lives and this sang we hae sung. Mak the world a New Haven, hear our caw, a braw New Haven for ane and a'. So the second poem I'm going to read was written by Nordahl Grieg, a Norwegian poet distantly related to the Norwegian composer Edvard Grieg. Nordahl Grieg wrote this poem in 1936 in response to the Spanish Civil War. He called it Til Ungdommen, which means to youth. I heard it on the radio and I was so taken with it. I didn't understand what it meant, but I just loved it. And when I looked at the words, which have been set to music by the Danish composer Otto Mortensen, I decided to translate it into Scots. So many of the Norwegian words were so close to the Scots. So this is my version of Til Ungdommen, to youth. Ring it be darkest phase, gang into your time. Under a bloody storm, now tak your stone. Aiblins ye spear and dreed, uncovered, apen. What should I fecht wi? What is my weapon? Here's your shield again all blaws. Here's your claymore. Faith in this life we hae, the worth o' man. For all our future's sake, seek it. Tak tent to it. Die if ye maun, but grow and stirken it. Quait gar the grenades, sleek it bonds, Reist their bringe to death, reist them wi' your soul. War is a sneest to life, peace is for to mak. Cast in your ver, for death montane. Then all weapons fa, we nae poor. If we mak mankind mens, we will mak peace. Them that with a ta'en arm bear a burden dear and sacred, with other canna murder. This is our leal hecht, ilkeen till awe. Goodness we will gie to our yard and its life. We will tent we love its braws, its warmth, like bearing a bairn, doucely on our arm.
Gerda Stevenson, one of the finest poets working in Only Lead in Scotland today. Delighted that she was able to join us this evening. We're on. We're going to circle back around. We're going to hit the handbrake, do a quick burley, and circle back around to our second award, Scots Business of the Year. Let's remind ourselves, the winner of Scots Business of the Year 2020. And somebody from the Wee Book Company joins us now. Congratulations, Beth.
Thank you so much.
How does it feel to win?
We're so chuffed. Brilliant.
Great. We're coming up to Christmas. We're coming up to Christmas. What can folk get for the Wee Book Company?
The Wee Book of Favourite Scottish Words.
And where can they get that?
They can get that at theweebookcompany.com. It was compiled over lockdown with all our wee book folk. We all got together and kept our spirits up over lockdown, and we all picked our favourite words, and it's on sale for Christmas.
Bra, sounds like a bra present for folk to nip out and get immediately. Well, I'll leave you to it. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Bye. Good luck. Thank you.
Smashing. And we hate a winner live we us broadcasting. So it's a wee win for ourselves here at the Scots Language Awards and all. So we're on to our next award, our third this evening. It's the Young Scots Writer of the Year. And to give you this award, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Bruce Ewanson for award sponsor, Education Scotland. Good evening, Bruce.
Hi, Ali. Thanks very much for that. How are you getting on?
Aye, top of the bill, top of the bill. Take it away, my man.
Good. Right, well, I have the honour of giving out this award for our Young Scriver of the Year. And I'm going to share with you a couple of lines for the judges of the competition. I said the poem impressed for its powerful use of language, its natural Scots, and the fierce urgency of its tone. Some of the standout lines were the waves dinna care, we ken, but we burn, and the manufactured storm. These revealed to the judges a poet able to harness passion with argument. This thought-provoking poem is a memorable response to the lines of Robert Burns' "Ah, the seas gang dry," which inspired this competition. In a very strong field, the poem "The Storm O'er the Sea" is a worthy winner. And I'm privileged to introduce the poet who won Young Writer of the Year, Ciara Dillon.
Oh, thank you very much. I've got the poem here, so I'll read it out. The storm o'er the sea. The waves dinna care, they pass your knees. The ice will ne'er freeze, but the storm pushes for mair. The deed dinna respond, but they were there, no cursing us for the heavens, thra the calls of the world. We dinna listen. The wind's picking up, swirling and churning, but we keep the heat. Lay it for the generations to come. Choking on plastic, burning in toxins, caught in traps. The few of them left suffering, and the filth we lovingly leave for them. We ken what we work burn, dreams of the future, for a' that we care, the storm once mair. The manufactured storm, built our generations, batters and bruises, wounds and infects, leaving us with hee-haw. We are swept away, all of us, waiting for the bairns to solve our kinch, as we hae been for years. The storm will be waiting, o'er the sea and blowing a gale, doing to swallow us hail. Say, which are we today? Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for reading that, Kira. It was a fantastic poem, and I hope you carry on writing. And I'm sure there'll be a day when you're performing at an event alongside the likes of Gerda Stevenson and other great female poets, great poets in the Scottish literature. We'll look forward to hearing more from you in the future.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much to both there. Congratulations to Kira, Young Scots Writer of the Year 2020. And just to echo what Bruce was saying there, Ned Duke will be hearing plenty more for Kira over the years. And let that be an inspiration to you young guns out there tonight. Stick with the Scots. There's plenty of success and plenty of great expression to be had in it. Now, last year at this time, we all got together down in Glasgow for a big gathering around the Scots Language Awards 2019. A lot's happened since then. There's been bits and bobs, pandemics, this, that, and the other. But there's also been hundreds of great projects, art, literature, music, songs put out in the Scots lead. To give us a wee up some of ahan that's happened over the last year in the world of Scots, I'm delighted to welcome scriber, setter, poet, and all-round good chiel, Tam Clark. Tam, good evening.
He's meant to have rung in, but he hasn't.
Tam's not here. So instead, you get to hear me circle around the point a couple of times, see if he calls in. He likely will not. But just to make it clear, Tam will be this evening to talk about some of the great successes we've seen over the years. Now, I think there's no sense hanging about. We'll get to Tam. So, met to a really serious award, Scots Bairns Book of the Year. Now, this is in our most hotly contested categories. There's all sorts of folk, all sorts of smashing publishing houses, big eens, wee eens, cottage industries, great big serious industries that are producing work for the next generation of Scots speakers. We all ken, growing up, it wasn't that easy to put your hands on quality Scots literature away from your like, say, Ur Woolley and the Bruins. Now there's a whole pile of stuff to wail for, and that is brought, and it's thanks to all these next nominees. So, our nominees for Scots Bairns Book of the Year 2020. This is sponsored by the Scottish Government. Nominees are A Squatter of Bairn Rhymes by Stuart Patterson, published by Tippermuir Press. Asterix and Olympic Games by Matthew Fitt, published by Dallin Alapa. Nip Nebs and the Last Berry by Susie Briggs, that's by Curly Tail. Peppa and the Bonnie Unicorn by Tam Clark, the absent Thomas Clark, for Black and White Publishing. Sonny and Me by Ross Sayers, published by Cranachan Press. And the Itchy Coo Book of Hans Christian Andersen by various scrivers. That means by Itchy Coo. And I'm delighted to say that to present this award, as it's sponsored by the Scottish Government, we have for the Scottish Government the Director of the Centre for the Scots Lead, Dr. Michael Dempsey.
Hello, Ali. How's it going? How's yourself?
Oh, I'm just delighted to see you. I'm glad somebody's here.
Aye, smashing. I know. Aye, well, we all need to get together soon once all this is by. Aye, so this is an absolutely amazing number of nominees we've got here. As you said, it's brilliant. We've got so many new authors coming through. So I'm here representing the Scottish Government, who funds the Scots House, Scots Radio, the language dictionaries, the Scots Language Publication Grant that brought for it a load of these nominees, which is amazing. And at the SLC, we get towards 1 million folk through the site, hundreds of inquiries all throughout the year. And we meet with thousands of Waynes and adults all learning, adults learning Scots, Waynes learning Scots, and these are a brilliant resource to actually get to folk. So it's a brilliant thing to have so many great books to recommend to folk that are wanting to become literate in their Scots. So without further ado, the winner is Fairvina authors, the Itchy Coo book of Hans Christian Andersen.
Hey, no, I've nae lang just read that book myself, and I must tell you, it's an absolute cracker. There's a whole fiend of screevers who contributed to it, and I'm delighted to say one of them joins me now. Good evening to Ashley Douglas.
Instead, you get to hear me circle around the pot a couple of times, see if he calls in.
No quite sure what that was, but I was hearing myself repeated back. I'll hae a second bash at that. I'm delighted to welcome one of the screevers for the Itchy Coo, Hans Christian Andersen, Ashley Douglas. There she is.
Hello.
No, hey, congratulations.
Closer on. Is that me on? Aye.
Ah, you're live. Speak to the nation.
Smashing. So it's my absolute pleasure and privilege to accept this award on behalf of Itchy Coo and all the smashing contributors to this book, Hans Christian Andersen's Fairy Tales in Scots for the first time. So I'm gay proud to be one of the contributors myself, and our most sincere thanks gang to all the others, such as Julia Donaldson, Elaine C. Smith, Shane Strachan, Thomas Clark, James Robertson, Val McDermott, Matthew Fitt, Susie Briggs and Sheena Blackhall. Our thanks for bye to Campbell Brown, Alison McBride, Thomas Ross, Jana Moller and everybody else at Black and White Publishing. And last but not least, of course, we want to thank the Scottish Government for their bonny assistance through the Scots Language Publication Grant. Now, if I'm all right to just say a few more words, Ali?
Crack on, I'm really enjoying it.
Smashing. So, Itchy Coo has transformed the face of Bairns literature in Scots. And through that, it's transformed the presence of Scots in our schools. And most importantly of all, in turn, that has transformed the sense of self-worth and academic achievement of tons of Scots-speaking bairns across the country. And of course, when Itchy Coo was set up, the main aim was to make seeker that bairns had a muckle range of good quality stories and poems to read in their own language. And I think the many other smashing nominees in this category shows that Itchy Coo has achieved on and then some. So our most muckle congratulations and thanks to all the other nominees as well. Hud for it, everybody.
Cheers, Ashley, and congratulations again to yourself, all the other screevers and our setters involved in the book, and to Itchy Coo for bringing such a braw collection out into the world. Now, I'm delighted to say I am now joined by Tam Clark to give us an upsum of the last year in Scots. Good evening, Tam.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Can you hear me?
Aye.
Oh, good. Right. Okay. Well, welcome to Hoyk in the Scots-speaking capital of the Bonnie Borders. It's been a year since we all met up in Glasgow in 2019 for the first ever Scots Language Award, and what a year it's been, Ali. There's been that muckle going on, and the first Scots Language Award, we all ken, is a game changer for the lead. It brought together a community of folk that hadn't been together before, and folk who in the last 12 months have been some smashing stuff for Scots and for our language. Now, we've had Scots in the radio, we've had Scots in telly, we've had Scots in newspapers and in the party conferences, in classrooms and schools. And leading off on all that, I think it's safe to say, is surely your own Ali Heather's rebel tongue, belting, bridie munching, beringe through the last 400 years, our history, our language's history. It minded us all where we were, where we came from, and most important of all, where we were gone. And where have we been gone in 2020? Well, the Scots Language Publication Grant Scheme entered its second year, and that saw a Halloween of new books for bairns and for adults, poetry collections and novels being put out, first set for folk to read for all sorts of publishers. Itchycoo alone brought out half a dozen books this year, but it wasn't just Itchycoo, there was Cranahan, there was Tippermuir, there was Louth, there was Curlytail. It has been a smashing year for Scots literature. And twa screevers who have been bonny fectors for the lead for a Langspiel were recognised and all. Matthew Fitt received the Scottish Book Trust's award for outstanding contribution to bairns literature. And Sheena Blackhall was named by the Doric board their first ever North East Macker. Weel done and well deserved by both. And it's been a hard year for a lot of us, for a lot of your heirs and a lot of your writers, and particularly for your performers whose careers have been put in hiatus by coronavirus. There's still been some raw stuff going on, like Jenny Fagan's Scots language opera, The Narcissistic Fish. But for our musicians, our poets, our actors, our comedians and our playwrights, it's been a tough paper round this last wee while. So if anybody out there has ever been thinking of buying a CD or a playbook or a ticket for a future event, or if the event is happening now is the time to do it. Folk really need your support. Moving a yont screeving and sang, it's been great to see Scots moving into literally other worlds sometimes. The Wee Windies project, run by National Library of Scotland's Alice Haywood and set up by the former Scots screever, Hamish MacDonald, went from strength to strength this year, giving folk the opportunity to read about their own history, their own land. And this year, surely, was Ashley Douglas's Stoughton, our setting of the Declaration of Arbroath. But if you wanted a metaphor for the growing confidence of the lead, surely there's nothing better than the Scottish Language Centre's, well, last year they set up a Scots map of Scotland. This year they set up a Scots map of the whole galaxy, which is no bad going at all. I've only got a couple of minutes, so I'm going to have to cut this short. There's 100,000 things that I would like to talk about and that I would wish I had time to talk about. Well, Heather, Scots House, what about your Vice and the Aberdeen Uni Doric course, the Scots Radio, the Aberdeen Uni's new Doric course. So what's been going on at the Scottish Poetry Library, how could I forget? The SNP conference and its fantastic Scots language policy proposal, which was greeted with universal acclaim. There's been hundreds going on, but the most important thing at all that's been happening for the lead this year and every year has been all yous. Without yous using the lead, working in the lead, spraffing and singing and screeving in the lead, doing the unglamorous everyday work in making sure that even when our language, even when Scots voices aren't heard in the media and aren't heard in Parliament, they're still heard allwhere else in Scotland, in hames and houses, in closes and down wines. That's been the real body of work that's happened this year. I'm guys sorry not to see you all this year, of course, but I'll look for it. I hope to see you in Dundee in 2021. Until then, odd for it, pack tent, and fair for you all.
Tremendous words for Tam there. Delighted he was able to join us live for the Bonnie Borders. I mean, he's right. There's been absolute hundreds. There's been thousands of smashing stuff, and he gave us just that wee in into it there. I'm delighted to say we're on to our next performance, and this time it's Huntley Quine and 8-time Scots Singer of the Year, Shona Donaldson.
That like Abdi and welcome Ben House to my living room. This is my stage for the night I've got the fire on. It's a bit of a cold, dreich night up here in Aberdeenshire, but we're fine and cosy inside and having a grand night so far. You might have noticed I've got my posh frock on the night. I thought I would take an opportunity to get doled up since we've nowhere else to go. I'm going to sing 3 songs for you tonight, but I'm going to do one just now, and then I'll be back later on to do the other couple of songs with a special guest. So it's a bit exciting. I'm going to start off with a bothy ballad for Runa Book My Ain Ert, for I was born and brought up in Huntly. This is a song for Kennethmont, which is not too far for Huntly, and it's even called The Scrunky Black Farmer. And the Scrunky Black Farmer was a man called Daniel Skinner, and he farmed at Earlsfield at Kennethmont, and I'll give that a bash for you just now. At the top of the Giddy and the lands o' Leith Ha, a scrunky black farmer in Earlsfield the Doal, wi' him I engaged a servant to be, which made me lament to get far fae the sea. I engaged with this farmer to drive cart and plough, hard fortune convenient and ill-fitted crew. I ain't a that number that caused me to rue, till I attempted the country to view. Up fae the low country my course I did steer, to the parish o' Kennethmont you shortly shall hear. Their customs and fashions to me a seemed new, my rapid precedence fu sore I did rue. At the heat of the Giddy we did appear, the various counties, some far and some near, for the parish o' Kennethmont, Kilmarnock and Keith, and fae a Barlower, Rothieme and Fordyce. But it's early in the morning that we rise to yoke, and the storm and the tempest can ne'er make us stop, for the wind it is beat and the rain it is pour, and I on black farmer on a seed is glower. But the hair's time is o'er and the day it has come, to the various counties we mun go home. Bonnie Jeanie mun travel, bonnie Bobby also, to the back beyond Montgomery must go. So fare you weel, Riney, adieu to ye Colette, for I have been wi' ye baith early and late, baith early and late, and baith empty and fu. So fare ye weel, Riney, I'll bid ye adieu. So fare ye weel, Riney, adieu to ye a'. Likewise to yon farmer that bides at Leith Ha, for to serve that black farmer I'm sure is nae sport. So I will be going to my bonny seaport.
A tremendous performance for Shona Donaldson there. Cheers very much to Shona for giving that to us to enjoy this evening. Now, we're right into the meat of things. We had 3 Muckle Awards in after another, and they are Scots Speaker of the Year, Lifelong Achievement of the Year, and Lifelong Achievement of the Year, what are you on about? Lifelong Achievement Award, and Scots Skill of the Year. First, Scots Speaker of the Year. This is vital because we hate to hate, as Tam was saying, we hate to hate strong voices out there, visible in different Scots-speaking communities, giving folk that role model, giving folk that confidence to use their tongue outside the hame, outside the places where it's safe to use it, and get it back out there into all different levels of society. Our nominees for Scots Speaker of the Year 2020. We hae Andrew Davidson, Josie Neal, Ashley Douglas, Janie Godley, Roisin Gallagher, and Steve Byrne. To present this award, please welcome Emma Harper, MSP. Good evening.
Thanks, Ali. Hi. Okay, technical difficulties. I think we'll be fine the next. Thanks, Ali, for that intro. It is a smashing event so far. I'm chuffed to be here. I grew up speaking Scots, and there are many speakers of our language in our parliament, and I would love all of you to come and visit when the time is right, of course. And one thing I will say is I am chuffed to join you and to announce the Scots Speaker of the Year award. And the last time I met this woman was when she performed in the oldest theatre in Scotland and in Dumfries. And so I would love to announce the Scots Speaker of the Year is Janie Godley.
Tremendous. Congratulations to Janie Godley for that. Of course, as Tam was saying, it's no been an easy year for comedians. They've had 7-8 months now without being able to do live gigs. Comedy clubs have been shut, but Janie's been keeping us all entertained with her videos on Twitter, on all social media, kind of both sending up the kind of daily briefings for the First Minister, and also just kind of getting in amongst the politics of the day, pitting Scots right at the heart in modern social discourse. And I believe I'm joined live now by Janie. Good evening.
Hello.
Naturally, Janie hasn't quite joined us yet. Apparently, there's a wee lag in the live broadcasting. What folk are seeing and them joining in the chat. So we'll just give you a wee minute. As I was saying, Janie has managed to maintain her output as a comedian. Hame, she's been doing these tremendous voiceovers that you can follow Janie Godley on Twitter to see. She's been doing a comedy double act with no less a person than the First Minister herself. And of course, she's been selling merch, she's been doing ahin like that. She's been keeping dead active over the period. She was an impressive voice, yezing Scots out there in public. But now with lockdown, she's maybe more prominent than ever. So she is making sure that Scots is heard wheel out with its usual confines. It's heard in every sphere. And as I say, getting the First Minister involved is no mean feat. I'll hear a yay or nay from producer Simon if Janie's able to join us.
Hopefully soon, but let's move on.
We'll move on for the minute. Maybe Janie can come back in a wee while and tell us all about her brand new book. So, on to our next award. That's for Lifelong Achievement, and that's being presented by poet and teacher William Hershaw. I'm nervous to say it, but good evening, William. Oh, you're there.
Hi there.
Smashing. Good to see you.
Hello there, everybody. My name is Willie Hershaw, and I'm fair delighted to be here tonight to propose that John Stewart, Kent as Jack, his friends, should begin a Scots Language Award for all his darg and his smedum o'er the years in he's in the Scots lead. And I'm all the more kittled up to do this because Jack himself is a guy blatant sweet chill and he's modest forby. So he'll no blow his own trumpet and I'll have to do it for him. Jack hails for the tune of Kilmarnock, an air that holds a by ordinary minding for all as acquaint with the works of Abby Burns. And like Moneybairns' generation, he wasn't encouraged to speak the futhsome Ayrshire Scots, either at home or school, that he heard in the playgrounds and the causes. But Jack became a teacher, and as a young dominie at Cranhill School in Glasgow, he was put in charge of a guy Ram's steery class of bairns, one of them with serious learning and behavioural problems. And he able to teach them and ent the Scots lead, and he scrivet units of work and materials for them. And at this time, there was no SQA support or downloadable materials for Scots language. And Jack's work with the Waynes was a muckle success. They loved it. And they were fair bombazed with the Nori that poets and scrivers had made poems in the same lead that they spoke themselves. And Jack Wheeler to send the bairns Zetlands to the newly established Scots Language Society while we're running a competition. Now, the Scots Language Society had been started in 1972 by good folk who wanted to preserve and encourage Scots in ilka context. and the founding members included Hugh McDermott, the late George Philp, Paul Biggett, the Scots Scene Archive, and the first editor of its magazine, Laland's Jakey Anand. And a special prize was given to Jack's class for all their dark. And it wasn't long afore Jack was co-opted onto the committee of the SLS, and that's where he's been ever since. It's a long-standing joke that Jack has held the position of treasurer for so long now that nobody can mind of who he took over for. And in fact, I can reveal it was the late William Wolfe, ex-leader of the SNP. So for the last 40 years, Jack has been a firth-most vice and a wife-like fear to all the folk who share his love of the Scots lead. He's been a canny, tent-foo encourager, aiding and inclusive of everybody. He is forby a brawsome example of how to speak Scots, as I hope you'll hear soon. And in times when nobody thought that Scots was important or supported it, and some called it a debased dialect English, Jack never let the heat go down. He served on the parliamentary cross-party Scots language group. He is as well an honorary fellow of the Association for Scottish Literary Studies. He's had an infit or a wheen of years in many years, and it aye has been for the good. The current praises of the Scots Language Society, Professor Derek McClure, screed it in his seminal book, Why Scots Matters, which I'd recommend to everybody watching tonight. The Scots language is a mark of the distinctive identity of the Scottish people. We should be concerned to preserve it. It is ours. This requires no explanation or apology. Preserving the Scots lead has been something Jack has done gladly, unpaid, and without spearing for any credit for a wheen of years. So the next, Jack, I'm going to say well done and thank you and raise a glass to you. Cheers.
Very well done, Jack. You're live, man. How does it feel to win?
I think. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well. Me? Fire away.
It's just there's a fair bit of background noise and echo and so on. So I'm not sure whether anybody else hears that. Thanks. So, I can hear you now. That's better. That's better. Aye. Exactly. Aye. I'll need to get Willie to tell me what he was saying. Sorry?
You're live, man. You're live now.
Right. Fine. Okay. No, you were asking me how I felt, and I'm just fair dumbfounded actually, because this is that better. Aye. Okay. Aye. As I was saying, I was fair dumbfounded because I really can't think why anybody nominated me. Sorry. I'm live now. Okay. Is there still the background noise? Aye.
No,
because
I really can't think.
I really can't think. Can you think why on the exactly? That's right. Aye, but once being said that, I really feel right honoured to be. There's still a background noise. Aye, anyway. That okay. That's just because I think I'm a jinx as far as. Anyway.
Cheers very much to Jack there. No Ahan's going to you this evening. I think we're going to get. I can still hear in the background there, Jack.
Just go.
I think we're going to have to move on and get that connection back up a bit with a bit more clarity for Jack later. But off a wheel done to him. Just use Ken. Jack's been working with Lallands. That's the longest running, I think maybe the longest running regular Scots lead periodical. It's been coming out for decades now, comes out quarterly, and you can get that, check that out, just Google Lallands and that'll come up. It's by the Scots Lead Associate, and it's basically an air where new screevers and experienced screevers can work in Scots for a receptive and informed audience and really hone their talents. And I couldn't recommend it more. I read it for many years. I'm a happy subscriber now. So our next award is Scots Skill of the Year. This is we can find that schools are the real engine rooms where folks' attitude to Scots that they had for their whole lives are created. If you give somebody as a bairn a negative impression of Scots, the sense that it's slang or isn't useful, they'll carry that with them their whole lives. But you get to them early and get it in their heads that actually it's fine. Hey, in twa ways of speaking, more than that, it's no problem at all. So the Bra Scots Renaissance we're happening the new, that we're enjoying the new, its epicentre is our schools. Our nominees for Scots School of the Year 2020. And this is sponsored by Itchycoo and Black and White Publishing, our Banff Academy in Aberdeenshire, Dunfermline High School in Fife, Fyvie Primary School, again in Aberdeenshire, the Hillabeath Primary School in Fife, Lossiemouth High School in Murray, Perth High School, evidently in Perth, Smithycroft Secondary School, City of Glasgow, and St Andrews Primary School in Dumfries. And to present it, we have for award sponsors, Itchycoo and Black and White Publishing. I'm joined live by Matthew Fett. Good evening, Matthew.
Hi there, Ali. How you doing, sir? Great to see you. And
I'm hanging in there.
Congratulations to Jack there as well. Well done to Mr. Stewart. Just to add to Ashley Douglas's broad acceptance of the award for the Hans Christian Andersen Book of Fairy Tales. Wow! Thanks for all the votes. And muckle thanks as well to Simon Toomey for putting on these awards in a year when, Ken, it'd just be easier not to bother. Ali, what I want to Ken is, where's his award?
It's mayor.
Where's Simon's award? Is he not getting in?
No. His award comes in the post in the form of a check, I believe.
That's what it is, right? Print paper envelope. Okay. But Itchycoo and Black and White Publishing are proud sponsors of the award this year for Scots Scale of the Year. This year's, as has been said already, it's ongoing challenges to keep the Scots language provision alive in Scotland's scales. But as many folk watching this words Ken, coronavirus or no coronavirus, there's ongoing challenges year in, year out for Scots provision and for our bairns and wains and dominees in Scotland's scales. So Itchycoo and Black and White Publishing are glad to honour the nominee scales the next. Among them, Hillabeath Primary Scale, for successfully hosting the Deputy First Minister John Swinney in October 2019. Say successfully that Mr Swinney spoke at some length in the Scots Parliament and that scale's progressive, inclusive P1 to P7 approach to Scots. Dunfermline High Scale for their year-long project with filmmaker Martin Ayres Animates, which led to a brilliant Scots language film based on a poem by Macker Billy Letford. Go on, Billy. Fyvie Primary Scale for racing against the COVID-19 lockdown in spring to finish their superb animation, The Todd, inspired by the wonderful Scots sangster Alistair MacDonald. Smithycroft Secondary for its dominees' undingable commitment to the Scots language for the enjoyment and learning of their bairns, Richt in the heart of Glasgow. And the Scots Skill of the Year Award for 2020 Gangstil Banff Academy.
Sensational. A massive congratulations to Banff Academy for winning the prestigious Scots School of the Year. Now, I should be handing our live now to Dr. Jamie Fairbairn at Banff Academy. Jamie, good evening. And with that tremendous misstep that I've made umpteen times already the night, and no doubt will happen again in the future, Jamie isn't quite there. Now, I've had the pleasure actually to ging up to visit Banff Academy and take part in a few of the Scots Lead lessons they put on there. And I hate to say, it's one of the most pleasurable experiences going, because there's a good, I think there's been over 800 bairns pit through the Scots language classes that Dr. Fairbairn runs. Now, he's a geography teacher, so he isn't running it in the conventional literary setting. He's running Scots language as part of geography. So folk are learning about geography using Scots, and that is quite it's a bit of a revolution there. It's attacking a totally different approach. And the bairns that I ran into were confident. They were from all sorts of different backgrounds. You had Ferman bairns, Toon bairns, Ken, all sorts of different folk confidently bilingual in Scots and English and able to screeve it confidently. And the whole of his Dr. Fairbairn's corridor is full up with Scots signs, with Scots creations, with Scots artwork, with Scots geography posters, giving it a real visible presence around the school. Is Jamie going to join us now? He isn't. So what we're going to do is throw to another performance, and this scene, it's for Dundee's own Gary Robertson.
Good evening, folks. My name's Gary Robertson, and I'd just like to say a big hello to everybody watching the Scots Language Awards 2020. It's fair to say it's been a very tough, surreal year for everybody, and all we can really do is keep positive, looking forward and hope for a much, much better 2021. It was very fortunate and absolutely over the moon to be voted Scots Performer of the Year at last year's inaugural ceremony in Glasgow, and it was an absolutely incredible night. Met some fantastic people, and fair to say we had a couple of light refreshments after the event. To each and every one of yous that have been nominated tonight, massive well done. Yous are the people that are keeping the Scots language very much alive and kicking, so best wishes to yous all. Thank you to Simon Thumeyer for the opportunity to do a wee bit of the Dundonian street poetry for yous. Now, usually when I perform, there are wee bits of colourful language dotted about, so they will be tin out, silence, changed, so bear with me. This first poem is about, for me, growing up in the 1970s in the housing schemes of Dundee, which was Whitfield Infantry, and this is called Chronicled Youth. I'm going to tell you the memories of my youth. No storytelling bullcrap, no lies, just the truth. Leave the fiction for the dreamers and them that would impress. Their pens are full of fables, their knowledge is a guess. See, life in the schemes, that's where you see it the real life, the pain and strife, the writing on the wall. But out of adversity, hard lessons sooner learned. Respect isn't given free, respect must be earned. Whitfield's where it started, in a multi-storey block. As were praised wee crowbars, what a bloody shock. Stair landings reeked of pee, mixed in with human cake. Graffiti daubed across the walls, completed the homely sight. The lift was never working, the drain green fair game. Low-life gadgies nicked your washing mothers stood and cursed them. Friday night's a riot, the old man come in blitzed. Old lady lobbed an ashtray, just as well it missed. Christmas though was magic, me and sis had a ball. Stuff the debt, said mum and dad, we're going to have it all. Wendy House, Action Men, Soji's dolls and bikes, Santa's grotto and a multi, the stuff kids like. Then came the New Year parties, the house was bloody packed. OVD and baby sham, pale ale and export stacked. The living room was jumping, the kitchen much the same. I can't get to sleep, get these out my hymn. Slade and Susie Quattro never heard my feeble cries. The record player shook the was, the volume grew in size. Right, somebody for a song, I'll give you 10 guitars. 10 years sounds bloody better, locked up behind cell bars. Tarsy's Island, carefree days, a front seat at Drumgeeth. Bricks and bottles, sticks and bits and gangmen losing teeth. The mid boys on the rampage, their opponents stood their ground. Arguments would rage for days on why the hell had won. Then the family upped and left, for Fintry's sprawling scheme, a semi like a hoose. Ma says it's such a dream, new mates, new beginnings, and time to hae some fun. catching bees in jam jars, playing football in the sun, climbing trees for birds' eggs and games will kick the can, whack the plank or join the crew, some fought while others ran, rope swings over the burnie, picking berries at Kirriemuir, nicking tatties fae the fields and selling them round the doors. Youth culture's finest era, the punks were on the march, community centre discos, hair spiked up with starch, the dead flea and the pogo cleared the mod boys out, white riot fueled the mayhem with the dance of the 10-hole boot, ska boys stomping round, crombied up with short cropped hair, the acrobats in Northern Soul prancing over the flare, springers, bondage breeks and pleaters, stay press, mohair jumpers, getting a necky off your lass, gathered on street corners, mob rule outside the shops, merry doon for a carry out, chased by the bloody cops, lighter fuel and Evo sticks, some boys out their brains, life inside a glue bag, playing hallucination games, government schemes, broken dreams, the Tories turned their backs, real jobs were non-existent, Maggie Thatcher sort of that, fond memories though and happy days, and words spat fae my mouth, just an episode in my lifetime, a chronicle of my youth. Okay, sticking with back in the good old days, I'm sure many of you of a certain age will remember when sweeties used to be about that size. They seem to have shrunk considerably and the prices got much, much dearer. So this thing's called a gob full of fillings, or a mouth full of fillings. I mind when penny dainties were the size of red hoose bricks. I mind when Kojak lollies would last 1,000 licks. Wagon wheels were massive, about the size of a satellite dish. Times have no half changed though, now it's pure confectionery. You got cream eggs back then the size of chocolate rugby bars. They haven't shrunk the say, it's just you've now got bigger paws. Dinna gaze your cake, I remember bloody fine. Oh, I remember sweetie having back in sweetie shop time. Hiya, missus, can I hae a quarter o'? Midget gems, granny suckers, monkey nuts and cola cubes, strawberry bonbons,
Rose,
pear hearts, pineapple chunks and jubes, mint imperial, sherbet dips,
Right, can
crunchy
you
cups and
connect
cherry
in,
lips, hubba bubba, highland toffees, sour plumes and licorice sticks, golden cups and
About
sweetie
5
fags,
minutes.
penny chews and Kelly bags,
Great,
puff candy,
thanks,
fruit
Rose.
salads, victory V's and blackjacks, fizz bombs and nutty bars, white mice and Texan bars, ruffles, truffles, malt dainties, space dust and macaroon bars, nut clusters, jelly tots, floral gums and juicy lips, mantola, parma violets, aniseed baz and wee pink shrimps. And what about aromatics, spangles, lucky tatties, they were bra, jelly beans, treats and spearmint chews, and that's no near them Back then it wasn't just a wrapper full of bloody air, you got your 2 bobs worth, they definitely gave you more. Mind, we kept our dentist busy drilling, sorting out our mouths, happy as Larry in a gob full of fillings. Compliments. Oh, a right sweet tooth. Cheers. Okay, as a wee bit of a sentimental poem that I wrote for both my granddads who endured the hell of World War II, and I've still got their medals, sadly long past now, and it's always good to remember the people who sacrificed so much in both world wars. This is called Coloured Ribbons and Tarnished Brass. When I was wee, I asked my granda about the war. He told me tales of horror and lands awa far. North Africa, 1942, Montgomery's Desert Campaign. As a young man of the Black Witch, he described El Alamein. I must have been terrible, granda. How did you ever survive? I was just sheer bloody luck, son. Sheer bloody luck I'm still alive. And with tears of pain he remembered other mates he'd left behind, caught in a hellish German barrage and torn by the guns and mines. To the strains of healing laddie, the pipers led the way. We forced the Germans back, son, a' the way to Tripoli. Proud Rommel had had enough of the famous Highland Division. The Jocks had fought with untold bravery. Retreat was wise decision. You ken your other granda was there, serving as a gunner. They lads had our admiration. boy, they had the Germans scunnered. Well, frae there, we went to Sicily, where sadly, mair good comrades fell. Then after that, the Lion's Den, the Third Reich's him itself. Well, that wee laddie sat there, just staring, open-mouthed. These tales he'd remember a' his life. Son, you've heard the truth. But Granda, what's these coloured ribbons and stars o' tarnished brass? They're medals o' the campaign, son, and memories o' the past. And now as a man I understand that yearly November morning, why we stand in thoughtful, silent respect at the poorie brain morning. Floors o' the forest laments eerily, the bugler sounds the last post, and tearfully I picture twa young men caught in hell near the North African coast. Thank you for...
Smashing work for Gary there. You can't gie life to the kind of street culture of Dundee as Gary does without recourse to that great Dundee Scots voice. It's tremendous. And I'm nae doubt the voices he is grand as couldn't have passed on their oral traditions had they no passed on the Scots language with them. I'm delighted to say we're going to ging back on ourselves ins mayor and rejoin the winner of Scots Speaker o' the Year 2020. Good evening, Jenny, and congratulations. Have you muted yourself by any chance? Because I can see you speaking, but I can't hear you. Maybe I should date any of your comedy voiceovers or yourself talking about your comedy voiceovers. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. You sure you haven't muted yourself? Janie, honestly, just dating sign language. Give us a thumbs up if you're delighted to have won the award. Would you also like to tell us about your new book, Frank, Get the Door, which is new, came out on the 19th of October, and that is, do you have a copy there you can hold up at all? Thanks indeed. What an acceptance speech. So Frank, Get the Door. That covers, I believe. So glad. Aye, we're delighted to hear you. Hang on, hold on. Here it comes. Here it comes. Amazing. I'm delighted. Honestly, cheers very much for coming back around. I'm awfully sorry that we can't hear you, but there is something funny about it as well. Good on you for winning. Cheers very much for making Scots language so audible to such a massive audience. And good luck with the book, Frank, Get the Door. I look forward to your next set of comedy voiceovers. Good night, Janie. Cheers for joining us. Yeah, I mean, that's halfway there, is it? It's halfway there. We're doing no bad, in my opinion. Cheers very much to Janie for joining us. And I'm also delighted to say winner of Scots School of the Year, Banff Academy's representative, Dr. Jamie Fairbairn, has also joined us. Will we see and hear him? Congratulations, Jamie!
Oh, thanks very much, Ali. How you doing?
Aye, top of the bill. Good to see you, man.
Aye, well, to say that I'm fair tricket is just a muckle understatement, and in the northeast we're king's understatement. But thanks for the school and for myself, and I'd like to thank Hands Up for Trad for doing a fantastic job. Everybody that voted, the other squeals and the other dominies, and any of them would have deserved this, and just the partners as well. Of Banff Academy. We had the Elphinstone Institute, which were fantastic, and in particular Claire Needler spent a year with us. Education Scotland, SQA, Historic Scotland, Duff Hoose, Matthew Fitfereye's visits and projects, and a wheen mair of things that I just couldn't start to mention. It's just been a delight. At the beginning of the year, just as Hida Humanities, to have a trolley stop it full of dictionaries, waking up and doing the corridor, and Itchy Coo Publications gin fae a teacher to another. And then we've got our senior class, and I think I've put in about 750 hours of Scots learning, and they just keep coming back. So it's absolutely fantastic. And one wee thing I wanted to tell you is just before the tatty holidays, got an email from the head of the Additional Support Unit, a laddie into one tuition. And the 3 subjects that he chose today for his whole curriculum was English and maths and Scots language. He thought that Scots language was a muckle subject, and it is now. So it's just absolutely brilliant. So thanks very much. This is for the bairns, for putting their trust in the school and in myself and their love of the lead. And in return, they're getting a validation of their mother tongue, a validation of their own community, and a validation of far they really are. So many thanks, everybody, and cheers the new.
And cheers very much to Dr. Jamie Fairbairn there. Hopefully the green screen coming up didn't distract you or muckle for his really inspiring words. The fact that Banff Academy has utterly normalised the teaching of Scots, so folk are getting out their way to learning. It isn't some big deal to be doing Scots on a merit. It isn't, Ken, something you howk out the drawer just for Burns night. It's something that is just weave it right the way through the whole heart of the curriculum. Tremendous work he's doing there. And truth be told, as much as we're having technical issues, we are getting into just about every area of Scotland. We spoke to Bruce, who was up in Shetland. We were speaking to Banff there. We just had Janie for Glasgow. I'm here in the heart of Dundee. Things aren't that smooth, but truth be told, it's not that terrible either. Hope you're having as much fun at home as I'm having here. Now, on to our next award. This scene is Scots Teacher of the Year. Hey, Janie Godley's back on screen.
Hiya!
Here, I'm just going to stand just slightly off to one side. There we go. Because I don't know how this is happening, but we can see and we can hear you. So how are you getting on, Janie?
Guys, I'm so sorry that I never got a chance to be able to speak and I was putting up signs. I'm absolutely touched that I won this award. I mean, I've spent my whole life being told that I should speak better. I'm told I'm winning an award for speaking how I speak, but the nominees who were there should have won more than me. Absolutely. I love all these backdrops that's happening, and I was determined to come back and have my voice heard. I'm so sorry I interrupted you, but have a great night, everybody, and thank you again for letting me win this. This has been the most amazing thing, and I'm sorry I missed it earlier. I tried to go online, but you know what? Technical, schmechnical's a new word. Thank you so much. Have a great night, guys.
Thanks so much, Janie. Thanks for coming back and speaking to us. It's been great to see her. That's excellent, excellent, excellent. You see, it's all coming together slowly and surely. We are getting there. And as Janie says, she was taught when she was young not to speak a certain way. And now, thanks to the Scots Language Awards run by Hands Up for Trad, she's getting praised on this incredible stage. For what she's doing and the joy she's bringing to so many folk during lockdown. Now, our next award is Scots Teacher of the Year. We can all agree that having teachers engaged, and aware of the tremendous nurturing qualities of Scots in the classroom is vital. If they aren't doing that, then the rest of us might as well gee up the ghost now. So, tremendous appreciation for the whole Scots language communities for our nominees. Scots Teacher of the Year 2020. They come again for this award sponsored by the Scottish Qualifications Authority. Our nominees are Claire Kerr for St Andrews Primary School, Eleanor Boyd for Hillabeath Primary School, Fiona McNabb, 5A Primary School, Fiona McAllister, Lossiemouth High School, Jamie Fairbairn, Banff Academy, Jen Morrow at Braveview Academy, Dundee, Sam Best, Smithy Croft Secondary, and Shelley Prosek at Cannon Grange High School. To present the award for Scots Teacher of the Year, please welcome Robert Quinn for the Scottish Qualifications Authority.
Hello, Ali. Thanks. Can you hear me?
I can hear you and see you. It's an unrivaled success.
There you go. Thanks. Great. It's been a great night, and I think you've all done a broad job so far. It's been a great week too, and it's fantastic to be part of the Scottish Language Awards again this year. following on from the hugely successful inaugural shindig at the Mitchell last year. A place, actually, by the way, where my grandpa was the Janny many years ago. So although things are very different this year and all our lives have changed, it's been incredibly inspiring to witness the power and the brilliance of Scots speakers, writers, performers and teachers on the national and international stage. And it's a true privilege to be part of tonight's celebration, which honours those who have made such a huge contribution to the language this year, and really a year like no other any of us have ever experienced. But despite all the challenges, our young Scots speakers in particular are thriving. They've developed their understanding of the history of Scots, their skills in communicating creatively in Scots in many schools up and down the country. And the commitment of their dedicated and inspiring teachers, their work and strength of voice over many years has been instrumental in bringing us to this exciting point in the history of Scots. So it's my deepest honour, therefore, tonight to present the Scots Teacher of the Year Award to Claire Kerr from St Andrew's Primary School in Dumfries and Galloway. Well done, Claire.
Claire, Scots Teacher of the Year doing Dumfries and Galloway. Are you joining us, Claire? And, of course, no quite yet. I'll fill a wee minute, give Claire a chance to join us, because I ken there's a wee bit of a time lag. But aye, as we were saying, and as Robert was saying so eloquently there, we are making huge strides in the place of Scots, and not just in getting it in the classrooms, but kenning why it's in classrooms, kenning the advantage it can give bairns to feel confident about their own tongue. Because you can, if you put Scots into a classroom and you say this is legitimate, the why yourself and your whole family speak is legitimate, it helps them attach themselves more to the community learning that's available. It helps intergenerational learning. Because Ken, if a bairn doesn't speak that good Scots, there's a decent chance he or she can tack their homework home and get their old granny to give them a help with it. And that granny we passing on her Scots isn't just passing on the lead. You're passing on all sorts of cultural kind of information. You're just helping build and strengthen the community ties that are one of the great things that life is worth living for. It builds stronger communities. It builds a good, solid sense of self. And in a globalized world, a sense of self, a sense of local, personal, family identity is vital. And that's what all our nominees as Scots teachers have been doing. Is Claire joining us, Faye Dumfries, the new, or will we maybe ging back to Claire once we get connected?
Yes.
We'll ging back to Claire once we get her connected. It'd be bra to ging down to Dumfries, because I didn't think we've had anybody from down in Dumfries and Galloway yet. But of course, that's one of the great heartlands of the Scots lead. That's where Burns spent a good chunk of his days in the statues to him in the town centre and all that good stuff. So I'm delighted to say we're on to another performance. This scene is live. And as we've been on the subject of Skill of the Year and Teacher of the Year, we're joined now by a lassie that's just 15-year-old, but has a tremendous talent. She's still at school herself, so a really warm Scots Language Awards. Welcome to Rose Byers. Good evening, Rose.
Hi. So tonight I'm going to be singing a Burns song, actually. And this is, Robert Burns wrote it, and it's called The Gowden Lochs of Anna. And he wrote this in the Globin, which is in near Dumfries, actually, which it's actually near where I live. And yeah, he wrote this song dedicated to Anna Parks, who was a barmaid there, and he fell in love with her there, and he wrote her this love song. So I hope you enjoy. Yesterday I had a pint of wine, a place where bodies saw no. Yesterday on this breast of mine, the Gowden Lochs o' Anna. The hungry Jew in wilderness, rejoicing o'er his manna, was Nathan to my any bliss upon the lips o' Anna. Ye monarchs tak the east and west, free Indus to Savannah. Give me within my straining grasp the melting farm o' Anna. That I'll despise imperial charms, an empress or sultana, while dying raptures in her arms I give and take wi' Anna. Come in thy raven plumage night, sun, moon, and stars withdrawn, and bring an angel pen to write my transports away, my Anna. Thank you.
Tremendous, tremendous, tremendous. Imagine being able to sing like that. What a talent. What a talent. It's good to see. We've been seeing that with the Schools Awards. We've been seeing that with Young Scots Writer with Kira earlier on, and we're seeing it again now. There is such a footed talent coming through. And the lead is thriving all across the country, and that's great to see. Speaking of all across the country, I'm delighted we can circle back round again, back to our winner, a Scots Teacher of the Year. Claire,
Hi
congratulations.
there. Hello. Thank you so much. I'm absolutely delighted. I'm quite overwhelmed, actually. Very strong competition. So I just feel very lucky, really. The children in my class engaged wholeheartedly with the Scots Language Project, some for the very first time, and got an idea of how rich the language is. But I really need to thank the author, Susie Briggs, who is not only an extremely talented author with her enchanting stories, she was so generous with her time. We put together little videos, a wee glossary, to try and understand the different words that we were coming across and understand the Nip Nibs book better. We weren't able to send the videos to Susie because of data protection, and Susie listened to my descriptions of the children, what they were wearing, what they were saying, and was able to then answer them and translate the words that she had used in the story. And if you didn't know that, it was flawless. She was absolutely wonderful. It's led on to other projects with the whole school being involved, and it's something I'm very excited to keep a connection with. Teaching during lockdown was such a strange situation. Very difficult to keep the children engaged, and I had 100% participation from the children in my class, and I'm just actually so proud to have created a positive learning experience to come from such a strange time. Thank you so much, everybody that voted. Thank you very much.
That's just great. Honestly, teachers, Claire, congratulations. You've done a great job. Keep on doing it. Your work is appreciated massively, massively.
Thank you.
So, on to our next award. And our next award is the Janet Paisley Award for Services to Scots. We'll hit a bonny graphic on the screen any second now. See you, tell you. To present the award, we have for the sponsor, Creative Scotland, please welcome Karen Dick. Karen, good evening.
Hi, Ali.
It's yours.
Can you hear me?
Certainly can. Fire on.
Awesome. So I'm here tonight to introduce James Robertson as the recipient of the 2020 Janet Paisley Services to Scots Award. So Creative Scotland were really pleased last year to be part of a Scots gathering and the first award ceremony in Glasgow. This year is really different and it's really difficult for us all, including everyone involved in the arts. But it's really great to be here tonight, back at the awards, listening to all the great work from people and hearing everyone speaking their words in their language, a language that was educated out of me. And I'm really glad to be introducing this award in James Robertson's contribution. Poet and editor of Itchy his services to Scots is immense. You've heard earlier this evening about the importance of Itchy to writers and to Scots in education. And if you caught Ali's blether earlier on this week, you'll have heard Matthew, Fit and James himself talking about why they started Itchy and what that meant for them and what they were trying to do, giving people the permission to speak their own language in their own words and to work in that language and use it. So I'm not going to spend any more time talking about me or introducing. I'm just going to hand over to the man himself, the recipient of the 2020 Janet Paisley Services to Scots Award, James Robertson.
Hello there, and thank you very much for this award. It's a great honour to receive it, and especially because it is in the name of Janet Paisley. Many folk will mind Janet was a wonderful screever of Scots. She wrote poems, she wrote monologues, she wrote short stories, she wrote novels, and she wrote film scripts and plays. And in all of these, she used her own Scots language to full effect. And sadly, Janet is no longer with us, but she was such an inspiration for many of us in the early days back in the 80s when there wasn't a huge amount of Scots being published. And Janet was at the forefront of that. So it's a real honour to receive the award that's got her name on it. I really don't want to say very much more than that, except that everything that I've done over the last 20 years with HQ and also a wee bit before that in other areas has been about the printed word. It's been about Scots written down and published. And that's, I suppose, been really what whole life engaged in, publishing and printing. And it seems to me that Scots, like any other language, deserves to be seen on the printed page as well as spoken. It needs to be a full language that is both spoken and read and written and also sung, as we've been hearing this evening by some of the great singers we've had on the awards ceremony. And it seems to me that if you link all of these things up, if you link the spoken word, the written word, the sung word, and the printed word, then that is the sort of fundamental foundations of a language that is thriving. And long may Scots continue to thrive into the 21st century. So thanks again. Thank you to Simon Tumir for organising these events, and thank you very much for this award.
Lang may Scots thrive in the 21st century. Strong and bold words for James Robertson there. If Scots is to continue to thrive, we'll do it with folk like James right at the vanguard. What an inspiration he is to Simonius. So congratulations to him there. I'm delighted to say it's time for another performance, and we're going to ging back to Susie and Jim Malcolm.
Good evening. It's very nice to be part of the awards ceremony.
Hello folks, yes, and we are going to do a song for you based on a lovely old bagpipe tune called Lochenside, and I've written words to it in Scots. It's a great medium to express myself. I've always enjoyed writing in Scots, so it's about the changing of the seasons round a lovely wee lochen in the mountains. Here we go. winter cold and dreary brings a hawk down frae the high scree to the wind, where snowy hares hide around the lochan side. Come the spring, the land lies weary, till the sun shines, it's a cheery, brings the bloom for our June's pride around the lochan side. Had you been yet seen the scatter, oh the peasies or the maca, when aboon the tawny glides around the lochan side. And the heron comes a-creeping through the rashes, green and dreeping to the pool, where a wily trout slide around the lochan side. Aye, if you ever hear reason to be here in honey season, come and try the barley brean by the fire on lochan side. Summertime, the fish are louping, the birds in, the bunnies coping, swallows flee dawn to lean tide around the lochan side. By the autumn the pinks are winging, blaeberries are the moors are hanging, salmon through the surging spade fight around the lochan side. Had you been yet seen the scatter, oh the peasies or the maca, when aboon the tawny glides around the lochan side. And the heron comes a-creeping through the rashes, green and dreeping to the pool, where a wily trout slide around the lochan side. Aye, if you ever hear reason to be here in honey season, come and try the barley brean by the fire on lochan side. Aye, if you ever hear notion to be welcomed with devotion, travel home or on the ocean, to be here on lochan side.
Tremendous! Really enjoying the tunes we're getting for your performers tonight. Our next award is Scots Project of the Year. Now, this scene is to celebrate and acknowledge all the broad projects that happen at community level to incubate and nurture Scots in all sorts of different ways in all sorts of different communities. Our nominees for Scots Project of the Year 2020 are Champions 2020 by the Scottish Poetry Library, Doric Dwams with Frida Strachan and Shane Strachan, Grow Radio, Our Vice, the Open University Scots Language and Culture course, and Wee Windies for the National Library of Scotland. And I'm delighted to say that we are joined to present the scene by our performing Dundee poet, Gary Robertson. Welcome, Gary.
All right, how are you doing it there? Hello,
Hi, great.
Out there in virtual world. Hello from Dundee. I've got the fire crackling away here. I think you should all be getting a medal tonight. Yourself, Ali and Simon, for getting this together. I've been taking you up on the technical issues and here we swallow. I'm wading through a litre of whiskey here, so thanks, Ali. No, it really is a great honour and pleasure to be invited in to present this award. Well done to Abdi. It's been nominated in other categories. It's been a crazy tough year. Hopefully 2021 we'll get back to it. But hats off to other creative people out there that have kept going, singing, writing. And I'm as chuffed to bits for Janie Godley for keeping what I going, keeping a smile on our faces with our humour through this lockdown. Well done, Janie. Right, okay. The Scots Project of the Year winner is, and there's no expense being spared here, a proper gold envelope up in Dundee. Oh yes. And the winner is Wee Windies National Library of Scotland. Well done, folks.
Tremendous, tremendous, tremendous. Cheers very much for that, Gary, and congratulations to Wee Windies, the project for the National Library of Scotland. And the heat of that, Alice Haywood is joining me now. Good evening, congratulations. I'll give a wee pause there, give your time to arrive on the scene. Wee Windies, if you didn't ken, 100% awa and give a Google them on. It is a sensational resource. So the National Library of Scotland, of course, contains within its archives hundreds, thousands of Scots lead documents, literature, poets that haven't heard of, literature you didn't even ken exists. And what they're doing with the Wee Windies project is how can you really class examples of literature for all the different dialect regions covering all sorts of different topics. And it's giving you a digitised version of that, but it's also giving you a modern Scots accessible document, screeved by great Scots writers out there that are analysing these documents and giving you introductions, letting you ken what this literature is, where it comes from, how come it's important. Basically, it's giving you a wee window into the depths of the National Library archive. And it's a good way to immerse yourself in the richness of Scots without it being our muckle to handle, without having to take a train down to Edinburgh and ging at the city centre archives yourself. You can ging onto Wee Windies and explore there. So if you're looking just as somebody that's interested in Scots to hear a wee read of some content, broad place to fire over to. If you're a teacher and you're looking for some materials to get your bairns, straight to Wee Windies. There's hundreds there. There's audio files of it. There's digitized documents. And as I say, there's these introductions to the literature, both in Scots and in English. You didn't hate to count folk in straight at the deep end with it. You can give them the into it in English and then let them find their own feet with the Scots. It's a tremendous resource. Is Alice able to join us?
No.
That's absolutely fine. They do 10, 12 minutes for now. She'll get connected and we'll ging back round and give her chance to accept the award. So now we're going to move on. We're moving on to our 10th award out of the dozen. So we're not far off for the end of all our awards, and this scene is a big one. It's Scots Performer of the Year. This is the... Indeed, apologies. This is our penultimate award. This is our 11th of the evening. Our nominees for Scots Performer of the Year are... And this is sponsored by Trax. Apologies. Our nominees are Amy Connachan, Angus Shurkan, Iona Fife, and Shona Donaldson. And I'm delighted to say that the sponsor Trax, for the sponsor Trax, we have David Francis joining us. Good evening, David. Looking awfully shady there, David. I think he's in the witness protection program at the minute. There he is.
Hello, everybody. As a Doonhamer myself, it was brought to hear that sang for Rose, and also to hear that the Scots Teacher of the Year was Faye Dumfries. But for a long number of years, I bade in the northeast, and I dearly love the songs and the lead for that airt. And it's grand to hear that the songs are being sung by a lot of younger chanters. So I'm delighted to say that the Performer of the Year for the Scots Language Awards is Iona Fife.
Good on you, Iona. Good on you. I believe Iona should be able to join us now. Of course she is now. Now, one of the things we had in Scots Language Awards week was a live concert for the Iona Fife Trio yesterday evening. It was incredible. The sound quality you can achieve now is amazing, and they managed to get a whole studio rigged up down in Glasgow for the Iona Fife Trio to give a live performance with a Q&A afterwards, posted by my verified self, and that is available. You can now go and buy that. That was a ticketed event, and it's a great way to support Ken, sangsters that can't get out and gig. You can support them through these online exclusive gigs. You can ging over to handsupfortradmusicclub.co.uk and you can purchase for a wee bit more than a tenner maybe the Hale recording for last night's amazing live gig. Honestly, you can sit yourself down with a wee dram, get that on the telly, get a quality speaker to listen to it to, and just lug into the finest young folk working in Scots music today. It's a well-deserved win for Iona for the Scots Performer of the Year. Obviously, we are having a wee bit of trouble bringing award winners in, so I presume that we aren't going to hear for Iona. Would that be correct? Iona, congratulations!
Oh, hello! Thank you so much. It's been such an amazing day listening to all the seminars and doing the songs last night and all. It's really lovely to be getting an award of Performer of the Year. But it was such a broad category with, of course, Shona Donaldson has been such an inspiration to my own career, also being for Huntley, and it's been lovely to hear some songs we heard the night, and I believe we're going to be hearing more. So just a huge thanks to Abdi at Hands Up for Trad, Simon Tumeyer, oh my goodness, cheers, muckle cheers. It's just so good that Scots language is being put for it, and this year has been an incredibly important year, an incredibly important juncture for the Scots language, and a huge congratulations to yourself, Ali, for doing such a broad job of hudding it all. Thank you.
Absolutely gutted that Iona started buffering just as she was giving us a compliment. I'll hate to throw it though. Congratulations to Iona. Absolutely well deserved. What a performer. What a talent she is. Now, we hate a couple more. We hate a final award to give out, and that's a biggie, and it's Scots Writer of the Year. And we'll get to that just before we do. We had two more excellent performances in for Gerda Stevenson, then for Shona Donaldson, and then we'll be back for the final award. So dinna gang only place else. Stick with us for the final performances and stick around for Scots Writer of the Year.
I'm going to give you two poems from my book, Quine's Poems in Tribute to Women of Scotland. The first one is about Maggie Dixon, who was a salt seller from Musselburgh, and she was born in 1702 and died in 1765. She was hanged for the alleged murder of her illegitimate child. She strongly denied the charge. Hoff hingit Maggie. Death is wappin' when it comes, like birth. I ken, I hae warsled through and focht wi' baith. She was blue, my bairn. Blue as the breast o' a bird I seen on the banks o' the Tweed thon day. Then grey, orang, the nail string wind it tight around her neck. I ettled to louse it, ance, twice, but it aye slip it. My honds couldn't grup, my mind scaled frae the jizzin' fecht. My mouth steekit, naughty scraich, lat nane here. I stuttered out, down to the water, thocht to dook her in its cauld jops. But hour late, I laid her quait in lang reeds, aching to hae a bit basket to float her out like Moses all the way to England and the sea, gie her a deep grave, a yont kennin'. But they fund her, still as a stain, where she lay. And syne me, one at gate, agate Kelso toon, murther, they yaldered, murther, like dugs. Embro Tolbooth's a dowie jail, and mercy, nane they gied me at my trial. The verdict, hangin'. The doomster, slippit the tow ower my head, drapped the flare, but I'd loused my horns. I grupped thon rape, ance, twice, thrice at my thrapple, I did it this time. The doomster dunt at me wi' a stick, dunt, dunt, and the dirdum dinged in my lugs. Clure the hoor, clure the hoor. Syne a' gaed dark. A chink o' licht, the smell o' wood, warm, a cuddie's pech, my een appen. I lift my kneve, chap, chap on my mort-kissed lid, chap, chap. I scraich out by, I creak o' hinges, I hease mysel slaw, until my ain wake at the sheep heed inn. Folk heuch and flee, a ghaist a bogle rising frae the deed. I sclim out, calm. The braw brewster gies me a wink, honds me a dram. I sup lang the gowd mott. Syne donner back to life and hame. The next poem I'm going to read is about Anna Buchan. She was a zoologist and geologist. She was born in Rosehearty, Aberdeenshire, in 1897 and died in Aberdeen in 1964. She was the curator of Marshall College Museum, Aberdeen, and Elgin Museum, and the writer of many scientific articles. She was, by all accounts, an absolutely brilliant woman. In this poem, I've invented the voice. It's a granny, and she knows or has known nothing about Anna Buchan until her granddaughter comes in from the college and tells her all about this woman. And I should say that every word of this poem is true. Anna Buchan's obituary. Yon woman was something else. I mean, the headline they printed in the paper yestreen when she'd pecht her last didn't gie us a clue. My granddaughter bringed in frae the college. Oh, she's aye fu o all kind of by-ordinary facts that leave me a hint, particular noo my mindin's tint. Apparently, says Susie, yon woman kent all about yerd and what's buried in it, fossils like the rig bane or fit dunt o' a bird, and all kind of gear, quaichs, ashets, bines, fae lang syne. She howked out a wheen of them atween the railway line and Elgin Road, mind where the old clay pits yence were worked. My brother's bits are still clarted with on. And there's naething she didn't ken about lamps, tillies, cruises, like I used to burn Ben. Yin fae Reed Cly, says Susie, fae the Nile. Thousands o' years syne, fair fan tush in style. In Story museums, she'd scans and leaked ilka bit thing, nae matter whether talker o pauper or king. And she kenned a thing about the mountains o' ice afore beasts were born. Could look at a slice o' yard and gie its name, date and place. On our planet, she wasn't just a pretty face. And here's Susie's pint. Oh, she's beelin' our lass. This is the headline that came to pass abin her obituary. The braw woman, bless her. Widow of an Elgin hairdresser. Thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Well, for my first song, I was up in Huntly and Kennethmont, and for my second song, I'm a wee bit closer to home. This is a song called Corachry, which is only a few miles from where I'm sitting here in Tarland. And it's a song that I first heard Jimmy Hutchison sing, so I'm going to sing that for you now. It happened a summer's evening, I get out to take the air. And come in Betarlan town I spied a lovely pair. The youth was tall and handsome, and the maiden fair to see. But I kenned their destination was not far for Corachry. I stopped to watch their motions as they did pass me by. The sun was set, the night was fair, I heard what they did say. I pulled my coat around me, and I set my cap again. Oh, they watch their motions coming in the Corachry. Halfway up the avenue, they both sat down to rest. He put his arm around her, crying, "Dear, hallelujah best." A maiden ye sitting down, and I made you right to me. But a maiden you'll never walk again, neath the gars of Corachry. Oh, Sandy lad, you'll ne'er deny this thing that ye done. My apron strings are broken, Lord, my hair flees in the wind. My maiden he does ta'en a fright, and forlorn awa for me. And the session clerk I'll get to ken o' this thing you've done to me. Cheer up, my bonny lassie, for ye needna get back. There's mony's a bonny lassie that gangs daily on the deck. There's mony's a bonny lassie, I am just as good as ye. But a maiden he'll ne'er walk again, neath the gars of Corachry. Now he comes down ilka evening, just as often as he can. He comes down ilka evening, just to see his bonny Ann. The talk that led o' hard lang syne, but nobody can see. But you'll easy find out a' their beds neath the gars of Corachry. Corachry. Now, I did say earlier on that I had a special guest joining me tonight, and it is my husband, Paul Anderson. He's going to come in and play fiddle on this last song that I'm going to do. You there?
I'm here.
You're here.
Hi folks.
So we didn't actually do an awful lot together, like fiddle and singing, but this is one of the very few, and I thought it'd be just a nice thing to do. So this song is a song called Noble Huntley, and I come across it, it's in the Greg Duncan folk song collection actually, but I first come across it when I was singer in residence in Huntly for different projects, and I had a great residency where I was able to research songs for Huntly and write new songs, and this is a song that I come across, and it sung the tune of Tulloch Forum as well, and it was published in the Aberdeen Journal in 1803, and the Noble Huntly in question is Major General the Marquis of Huntly, who was later the 5th Duke of Gordon. So, Noble Huntly. Come on, ye youngsters north about Miss Noble Huntly, cause ye out unto his standard never doubt the noble youths afore ye. For Bonaparte he will be here, he'll leave us neither horse nor mare, he will take out either gain gear and call it for him. Bonaparte he will be here, Bonaparte, Bonaparte, Bonaparte he will be here, the muckle sorrows more him. That if we true and faithful stand, we heart to heart and hand to hand, and let the scoundrel to right to land, we will be there for him. We win a flinch, we win a flee, and till our vengeance blood it be, and parties only live to see the gully made to gore him. We win a flinch, we win a flee, we win a flinch, we win a flinch, we win a flinch, we win a flee, for 50 score of them. So noble Huntly great and fame will turn his glory to his shame. All claymores we will draw again, they never fade in glory. What needs we who our fleets to boast, should we invade our British coast, we'll show him soldiers to his cost, we're born long afore him. Noble Huntly great and fame, Noble Huntly, Noble Huntly, Noble Huntly great and fame, and great in warlike story. Cheers, folks. Have a great night, and we'll hopefully see you soon.
Right, here it is. Shh, no word. I can't hear it.
Ali, you're muted. Ali, you're miming. Hi folks, this is Simon on air, telling Ali he's muted. Been trying to get on the show all night. This was all going so well. Oh. No. No Ali at all. Maybe, I love a bit of live. Can we hear, I wonder if we can hear Morna. Can we hear you,
Hi.
Morna? Ah,
Can you hear me?
Morna. Yes.
Hi. Although I'm not very good at improvised patterns, so
If I'm going to press the thing for could you tell us what you're here to present?
I am absolutely chuffed to pieces to be here to present Scots Writer of the Year.
And here is the nominees.
And here are the nominees.
And they are
Christy Williamson, Gerda Stevenson, Shane Strachan, Sheila Templeton, and Stuart Patterson.
And I'd like to introduce Morna Young to tell us who the winner is.
Well, that went really smoothly. Thanks very much, Simon. And Ali, I'm really feeling for you with the technical difficulties. Good evening, everybody. It's been an absolutely smashing night so far. And a rare chance to put on a frock and some lippy, even if it's just to bide in the house. I just want to start by saying well done to all of tonight's nominees, winners and performers. It's just such a privilege to see so many folk gathered together and to celebrate Scots in all its forms. So I won't keep folk waiting much longer. As you'll have seen, it's a tough category, Scots Writer of the Year, full of brilliant screevers. So I'm really chuffed to be here to present it. So the winner of Scots Writer of the Year is Stuart Patterson.
Cheers, Mona there from Mackin. Look way easier than I ever did. And congratulations, Stuart. You're joining us now live.
Hello, can you hear me all right?
I can hear you fine. Fire away, my man.
Wow. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Morna. And thank you, Simon, for stepping into the header-shaped breach earlier on. This is really something else. I don't care if I'm on a podium just now or no. But I think my head is. Wow, absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody that put in a vote. I've not got a speech ready, obviously, because that's not me. I think I'd just like to, if I could maybe just take a wee minute to thank one or two folk, obviously the folk that put their votes in, for all our, wherever you are. Thank you so much. It really means that much to this wee fella for doing an Ayrshire. As well as that wee fella for doing an Ayrshire for by. I'd also like to thank, it's been a great year for Scots and an absolutely tremendous year for me and my opportunities in Scots to work in Scotland, throughout Britain, last year across the world. I was a Shach as well in Northern Ireland with Alpina folk. And also this year I had a book which was published called A Squat and a Bairn Rhymes, and the publisher have been an absolutely tremendous support to me. So thanks so much to Tipper Muir Books and to Paul Philippou for all your backing and support. And also to the SQA that I do some work with as well. They've been fantastic. I think basically before I finish, I'd just like to say all the thanks in the world to my partner Joan for standing by me through thick and thin the past few years. Absolutely fantastic. Couldn't have done a lot of this without her. And going back much further, I couldn't have done it without the folk that I grew up with and the wee working class communities of Ayrshire where I come from. My family, my family for Kilmarnock, Markirk, Cumnock and all round about there. And especially my mother, Mima, who's going to be 91. next Friday. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be anywhere near this the now. So thanks so much, Mima. I love you to bits. We'll see you, Shin. And aye, thanks, Aubrey. It's been magic. I'm still to get in.
I'm delighted for you, Stuart. I'm delighted for Stuart. His recent publication of Squatter and Bairn Rhymes is a tremendous read. But ging online, hey, Google his work. There's loads of it out there. And honestly, it's just, a sensational quality. More than deserved. I'd just like to leave you with thank you very much for your patience. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I've enjoyed this. A massive thank you to the disembodied voice of producer Simon. Hands up for Trad. Well done, Simon.
Thank you.
There he is. There he is. Well done to all the winners. Thanks so much to all the award sponsors. We couldn't be doing this without you. Cheers very much to the audience at home. And we'll leave you with the excellent Dundee Scots poetry of Gary Robertson. Good night, Abdi.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, grannies and grandas, aunties and uncles, cats, dogs and budgies. Welcome back to another wee slice of Dundonian street poetry. This first poem I did was in that I posted last year on the lead up to the Scots Language Awards. And it's about a guy, a good pal of mine, Mick McCluskey. While I was battered for a scale teacher, this is a true story, many years ago for speaking Dundonian, Ori, as we call the dialect in Dundee. And what had happened, Mick had had a wee bit of an altercation in the classroom, and the guy had stuck the head on him and burst Mick's nose open. And the teacher come back into the class and asked Mick what had happened. And Mick told the teacher that he'd been headered. So the teacher gave him a clout and asked Mick again what had happened. And a bit bewildered, Mick replied with the same answer, that he'd been headered. So the teacher gave him a good doing and corrected him that he'd been headed. So I thought this was outrageous, but the poem is actually a wee shout back for Mick to his teacher. This is called Mick McCluskey's Oritopia. Boy, why is your nose bleeding? I've just been headered. Smack. You've just been what? Headered. Smack. It's headed, boy, headed. Learn to speak proper. This is proper. Cla, cra, cundi, wa, pendi, pleti, gable, endi, husna, hus, wasna, was, pe, cre, gugget, dre, la, hull, walna, wool, poli, toli, lavi, holy, stuur, sanis, fleur, fich, drich, keich. I'm warning you, boy. Arya, kinya, kidja, wadja, ske, cribby, clipe, mibby, chucky, docky, gadgy, knocky, rudder, brother, other, mother, dooley, beastie, clodgy, heely, clorty, manket, beelin, barket, backies, fronties, feelies, yonkies, pukit, drookit, pally, jukit. That's it, boy, you're expelled. Bra, sna, flag, cha, is it, has it, was it, does it, head, dead, Ged, loup, cowp, loby, doup, tolly, swally, polly, mally, kent, pent, a hind, a hent, arna, coudna, warna, shoudna, gernin, hangin, slappin, mangin. Boy, I haven't finished. Yella, nosies, bumblers, fogies, hosta, disna, gochel, isna, usta, yiz, use, shiz, maries, larries, starries, jacket, cake, idiot, naked, wise, stide, course, bide, clammin, chanty, geenit, nanty, posse, penny, closey, greeny. Dachter, clatter, tuny, water, lugs, divot, dubs, nabler, spaver, glaket, haver, perty, swimming, kerty, steaming, sievin, weekies, plunkin, seekies, chaffy, spuggy, scaffy, luggy, pavies, neeps, dribbles, dreeps, minter, raider, headed. Headed? Nah. Headered. Now that's proper. Cheers. It's quite mental trying to do that poem and change words because it usually rattles like that, and anybody that performs poetry will ken. If you trip up, it goes and that's it. Okay, moving swiftly along. This is a poem about probably the most famous Dundonian in the world. And it's called Oor Wullie. And what I wanted to do was write this because I'd kind of noticed over the years that he'd started getting a wee bit of a West Coast accent, and that just wasn't right. Nah, he's a Dundonian boy, written by Dudley D. Watkins for the Sunday Post. So I wrote this to right any wrongdoing that was going on. He's Oor Wullie, your Wullie, Abdi's Wullie. That'll be bloody right. He belongs Dundee. He's never been a West Coast boy. It's plain for that to see. They've tried to nick your favourite son and claim him as their own. Och and sugar, what a load of keech. Fae Norrie's Pendy came. He used to run with the Hultoon Huns in 1944. Fat bob, wee eck and soapy suitor. Green and black were the colours they wore. Don divot fights with the gasworks gang were at the back of the Progie Hall. How do I ken? Well, I'll tell you. My old man was his pal. See don bucket that he sat on, that come fae the berries at Blair. That very same bucket where Primrose sat and began his love affair. Nabbling up the drill my foot, he was spotted by a wee eck, playing games of touchy-feely and planting love bites on her neck. Mind, Basher Briggs fancied him, her and a. He stayed up near the Hultoon clock. He challenged Wullie to fight in there round the back of the Washay block. Abdi thought Wullie'd keek his dungarees, but the wee man rapped his face. He lapped him with the old Freddy Tennant 1-2, cheered on by the rest of us. He used to drink in the Temperance Bar, pints of sarsaparilla straight. PC Murdoch had hated drag him home steaming, where his doubt met his old man's bet. His mother, she was a belter. She could scrap with the best of them. She used to do the door of the windmill just to boost her weekly income. Mind, she was right scared of summon. All it took was one wee squeak. Wullie's wee moose Jimmy had her terrified, quite literally, keeching her breeks. Well, a day, I had changed for Wullie, and neighbours proposed a wee toast. Dudley D. Watkins fae DC Thompson signed him up for the Sunday Post. Now at first, I went just brah. But things soon got out of hand. They dropped his Hultoon accent, gave him something we couldn't understand. Words like whit and fitba and nonsense like that. Jings, crivens and help my bob. Nobody in Dundee speaks like that. That's pure keech to the native Ori throat. The Celt Wullie right down the tie. Promised riches never materialised. He ended up back at Dode Devlin's Berries as his stories went pure commercialised. There's many claim him as their own. They're telt though, dinna be so silly. He's no anybody's in Aberdeen's. He's Dundee's, the wee lad cred Oor Wullie. Why, so's the Bruins. So now yous ken, okay? Now it's funny, I used to love reading the Oor Wullie and the Bruins books, but you notice that the Aldens that come back for the 1930s and that, Wullie had quite a raw, Ori Dundonian accent, and they kind of watered it down over the years and slipping in a wee bit of West Coast, so we're keeping him on the East. Right, okay, I'm going to do one more for yous. This is called There's Nothing Worse. There's nothing worse than missing a sneeze, the smell of coo's dung or Parmesan cheese, or putting your finger through the toilet roll, hain nae money and being on the dole. There's nothing worse than your team getting humped, getting packed up or your face getting thumped, milk that's sour or beds that squeak, getting pied off or paying your breaks. There's nothing worse than getting nabbed henna, or your tails getting flattened for a runaway tank, acting pan loafy, trying to speak polite, getting stung for a wasp or standing in. There's nothing worse than falling through, or your wife falling asleep when you're haying a good, the sound of the alarm on a Monday morning, or getting chucked out of Fat Sam's for the doorman. There's nothing worse than a car that when a start, mince without ingans or a watery fart, a hangover, piles or a snottery beak, hain't too many aftershocks and cleaning up the seek. There's nothing worse than listening to somebody havering, or a chipper that's run out of mock chop or single fish, a puncture on your bike, or tuning in your hair, or getting absolutely fan down the stair. There's nothing worse than when the bag gets burst, or 1966 and Geoffrey bloody Hurst. Last orders at the bar, drills that dinna hang, the feeling o' a vindaloo fleeing through your ring. There's nothing worse than missing Jimmy Reed's sale, the Rico Cat's beer, or swallowing gobstoppers hail, drapping keys down cundies, squeebs going off all night, or peddling down the Hull tune, and your brakes fail on your bike. There's nothing worse. We got there. Okay, that concludes the Dundee side of things. Listen, thanks again, Simon. Best wishes to each and every one of you again. I hope you are keeping positive, stay safe, and keep creating. We'll get through this. We'll see you soon. Cheers.